YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. I did a stream, I guess it was on Tuesday, my time, and I had a viewer under the username @, who dropped 50 Australian dollars on me with the request that I do an Alith Anar campaign, or sorry, an Alith Anar battle. So this is for you, @. So yeah, I got Alith Anar here, and I've got some Shadow Walkers and some Shadow Warriors. Now, Shadow Walkers are a poison melee, poison missile unit, and I'm using them to support the 3 Shadow Warriors because their poison arrows should slow down anything coming towards them. And then Alith Anar is buffing their speed. And my army is really going to shine if my opponent gets impatient versus my archers, and that's exactly what he does right off the bat here. I've got the Dragonborn and a Star Dragon to deal massive damage to any units foolish enough to try and throw themselves away at my archer blob. And then the archer blob is meant to just keep moving. And over here, a unit of Doomfire Warlocks and Cold One Knights get insta-wrecked. My opponent, the rest of his army's got a War Hydra, 2 Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbow, a Supreme Sorceress, 2 Executioners, a Sisters of Slaughter, 2 Black Art Corsairs, and some Dread Spears. I have an army of Spearmen, which is acting as a distraction. I am attempting to pull my opponent away from my archers. The right move for him right now is to completely ignore these Spearmen and start pushing in a wide line like this and push me back against the wall. And then he's going to want to swing his fast movers around the sides of that wall and push me back against the back of the map and kill me because my spears won't be able to keep up or cause any damage. His Supreme Sorceress tries to use a Burning Head. It doesn't end up being too effectual, and he's chasing me. Even though he already took heavy losses, even his Hydra was defeated quickly at the hands of my Dragon and my Dragonborn. And at this point, the Supreme Sorceress is chasing my men into these misty woods. How about that for a scene? Absolutely beautiful. This game looks so cool. Anyway, yeah, I'm using my Dragonborn to wreck some Black Art Corsairs. You can see he's going to use considerable winds of magic to try and stop my archers, but none of this is really going to be that effectual because my guys aren't fixed. They're not blobbed. They're kind of spread out and they're on the move, which means that all these attempts will end up being a pretty big waste of magic. So he's going to continue to push me. He even brings in his Dark Riders. One of his Dark Riders had already died. He'll cause a little damage this way because I'm going to retreat from him, but he's going to take more damage than he needs because my Dragonborn are still here. My Dragon actually got sidetracked chasing a routing unit. It was a misclick. Appropriate name for Shadow Warriors, huh? That they're moving through the woods like this. Oh man, that's cool. So yeah, the Shadow Warriors leading these Dark Elves on a chase. All the while, way out here in the distance, I've just been sacrificing all my Spearmen. It's a purposeful sacrifice. It's not going to do any good for him. It's just split his army, because again, my victory here relies on him splitting his army. His Doomfire Warlocks are going to try once again, but with the Dragonborn around, it's not going to happen. And then my Star Dragon comes down and lands on the Supreme Sorceress and some of his Black Art Corsairs. But yeah, his Supreme Sorceress should have stayed well away from this. Like I said, if he would have put together one line and pushed me, I think that he would have been in good shape. But all of my skirmishers, along with the Dragonborn, are going to be able to escape the woods with some Harganeth Executioners in tow. But they are taking damage and really not able to catch me. So if you think about the units I've got here, none of them are armor piercing, but Shadow Warriors can fire whilst moving, and they're fairly quick, especially with Alith Anar around to buff them. And then the Shadow Walkers, again, debuff the enemy speed around them with the poison. So it's the combination that I was going for here, and it ended up working. And then Shadow Walkers also, despite not having armor-piercing missiles, they have 36 missile damage, which is substantial, not to be trifled with. So the Supreme Sorceress actually gets routed, and I was going to get my Star Dragon back up into flight. I have not used any of my breath abilities yet, because I don't feel it's quite the right time. I was saving them just in case I had to hit a blob of infantry late in the game. So if anybody's asking why I haven't used them, that's why. didn't feel like I needed them just yet. So I take some pot shots at the Executioners and these Black Art Corsairs. At this point, I go off a fire at will with my archers because I know that I'm going to potentially need to spend their ammo properly to end this fight. So here I'm going to target the Executioners. So I'm going to be a little more purposeful with my targets from here on out. At first, it was definitely just a kite game, but you can see as I start to run lower on ammo, we may need to conserve our ammo for key moments. And here I'm just going to let the dragon do the damage. He's already racked up 2 chevrons, and the Dragonborn have also racked up a ton of kills. And you can see that we've effectively split the army of my opponent. As he stayed over here to kill these spears, it splits his micro, and it means that he won't be able to properly micromanage certain units. The Supreme Sorceress actually regroups, gonna help chase off some of my spearmen. But she has taken a beating at the hands of my units. He did have a unit of Dread Spears down here, but he's now fleeing away, seeing what my dragon and my Dragonborn are up to. He knows that his spearmen will soon be dead, so he's going to retreat and try and regroup. Which he has a chance of. I don't think it's a good chance, but he has a chance. If he could keep his Supreme Sorceress alive and try to use the remaining Executioner, Spearmen, Sisters of Slaughter. His Sisters of Slaughter actually went off chasing some of my routing units and have not been regrouped, so a big mistake here for my opponent. There's Dread Spears and Sisters of Slaughter. He needs to get everything regrouped, help support leadership, but instead he's still coming at me piecemeal. So his determined attacks at my archers, though, again, are just kind of feeding into what my army needs. I still say that if early on he started up here on this hill, if he would have put together a line somewhat like this, made a push forward while guarding the flanks with the Doomfire Warlocks and the Cold Ones, he could have easily pushed me back to this corner. See this corner right here? He could have just worked me back that way, and then I would have gotten trapped right here. And X marks the spot. That would have been the slaughter right there. And my army would have been gone. And he could have completely ignored my spears, and my spears would have just been chasing him. And it wouldn't have done me any good. Because they were deployed initially, my spearmen were initially deployed over here. And again, the idea was I'm going to split my army up. Look. Executed. So she tries to drop a flaming head on me, and instead she takes an arrow to the head. So the Supreme Sorceress is assassinated by the group of skirmishers here. And at this point, my opponent doesn't have a whole lot of prayer left. With the loss of his Supreme Sorceress, it's unlikely that he can hold out enough leadership to defeat my dragon. And my dragon still has breath attacks. I'm going to try and use one here, though, to be honest, they're not going to work very good until you get an enemy to slow down. So you can see here I only catch a couple of unit models, nothing significant. But I'm going to go ahead and use the dragon's charge and attack here. Start wrecking these guys, and the Dragonborn are going to send these Black Art Corsairs flying down the hill. Look how bad they scattered them on that charge. That was gruesome. Black Art Corsairs do not like being hit by high charge armored cavalry. It will destroy them. That's exactly what happened there. So now my archers, what little ammo they have left, I can unload it on the Executioners, start to pick away at their health, so that we can do something like this and take the Executioners out of the fight. And in this case, Alith Anar is going to come out victorious over the Dark Elves. Now this required my opponent to play into my strategy. I don't think Alith Anar is going to be a great lord in multiplayer battles. That's just my humble opinion right now. I think he's actually pretty weak. And the reason being, yes, he has good missile damage. Yes, he can skirmish from quite some distance. He can be elusive. He can buff archers. As a lord, he's not going to be a unit that can quickly best another lord or something like that. He's going to have to be more of a kite lord that baits enemies into traps, like in this case. So I think that's going to be his only real use, because he cannot kill enemy lords quickly. It's not something that he's capable of. Maybe if you supported him with the right units or magic, perhaps, but as I see Alith Anar, he cost a fair bit. Actually, he's not super cheap, and the units that he best supports, like the Shadow Warriors and Shadow Walkers and others, are very expensive. So Alith Anar is going to have to be used carefully to good effect there. Now, it might be interesting to see how he combines with Lothern Seaguard. So for instance, we might go just run a quick test here, because he can buff their reload and their speed and other stuff like that. So let's say that, for instance, we want to go take him. Let's do a custom battle. We've got Alith Anar. Here's where I built up my army earlier. Before going into battle, I kind of thought through what I wanted to do. So let's say that I get some Lothern Seaguard. A few of them, because they double as kind of infantry and missiles here. And let's just see what kind of damage these guys can do. Now remember, these guys can't fire while moving, but Alith Anar can buff their he can buff their reload. So I'm just kind of curious, like, how much damage can I do to a couple of Black Orcs coming at me here? Let's take a look and see. I'm thinking we may do one test with Alith Anar outside of his ability radius here, his buff. So let's do the first test with all the units within his buff. So he should be buffing their reload speed. Let's leave him here, leave him on fire at will, and let's just kind of take note of the damage that they can do on an approaching unit. If we look at what he's doing, yeah, this right here, plus 20 reload skill. He gets missile resistance to the units nearby him, so definitely good stuff here. Martial prowess. I'm trying to figure out what gives the bonus to the missile attack here. It's also got to be Alith Anar. Passive missile resistance. Ability range. Does anybody know what's causing that buff right now? Like, why is their attack up at 25? It's showing like a buff on it. Martial prowess is this. I'm assuming that this leadership, yeah, Lord nearby. It says 15 and 4, so it should be 19. So they're definitely getting a buff. Doesn't quite show me what it is here like it does on some of these others. I'm probably missing something obvious. That's where a reload skill comes in. Plus 5 melee defense. Missile resistance. Missile resistance and courage. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Some kind of effect that's in play there. Let's see. When we do another test, we'll see if it's still there if Alith Anar is out of range. I'm going to focus everybody on one Black Orc after that initial volley, and we'll just see what kind of damage we can do. See whether or not the the enhanced reload, they are firing pretty quickly. Let's watch what happens here. I mean, you can see that they're just kind of summoning up almost one volley after another here. Black Orc is armored. They're not shielded, but these are not armor-penetrating missiles either. You can see that they're able to do substantial damage to this Black Orc unit. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna darn near rout these guys. Let's split up Alith Anar here. Yeah, look at that. We routed a Black Orc. Let's keep Alith Anar close to these guys so he can keep their leadership up. I just want to see what we can do with some Lothern Seaguard for fun here. Look at that martial prowess, 57 melee defense. That melee defense definitely helps my my men hold up longer against the gruesome units like the Black Orcs. So I mean, we're able to do some pretty painful damage here, some pretty heinous damage, in fact. Let's keep attacking these Black Orcs with everything we got. Well, you can see the reload rate is absurd here. How quickly they can fire. We go. It shall be done. Let's bring Alith Anar over here, see if we can take out these Black Orcs. I don't know if we can. He's pretty squishy. Without fail, defending Just keep messing around with this. I don't know, I'm just having a little fun, seeing what kind of buffs Alith Anar can give to these units. I mean, they are definitely firing quickly. And there's definitely a buff to their missile damage right now coming from something. Curse all Druki. No Druki here, Alith Anar. Let's watch him fire in here. His own arrows ought to just kind of pick off Black Orc units one at a time. Yeah, look at that. I mean, these guys definitely end up with a very potent reload rate. Let's kind of watch the damage that Alith Anar does to this Night Goblin War Boss, just as an example. I mean, when he hits someone, it's going to do some damage. Let's watch here. So 1198, 416 missile damage, armor piercing, miss. So see what I'm saying about him not being able to kill stuff quickly? I mean, it's not even really a guarantee that he's going to hit something here. I mean, this is a pretty slow moving... Of course, it's a small target. Grant that. There, it landed about 200 damage. Just kind of see what he does here over a few shots. Missed again. So that's what I'm saying, where I don't think Alith Anar is really very deadly to enemy lords. I mean, if you all found the case where that's not true and he is deadly, then let me know, but I just haven't seen it yet. Right there, he scored another maybe 300 damage or so. So, I mean, when he hits, he does some damage, but he definitely doesn't seem like he's a guaranteed hit there. That one scored about another 200-something damage. And again, this is against a low armor unit that has relatively small hit points to begin with. This Night Goblin War Boss. Yeah, you can see the fairly frequent misses. So I don't know. Alith Anar obviously seems like his mission in the game is to buff archer lines. So that's what I would use him for. Yeah, you could use him for the occasional ambush, but I would use him to buff archer lines and try and make those archer lines cause more damage out of a curiosity's sake. Let's run this again, and I'm going to keep Alith Anar outside of the range of these archers and see whether it makes much difference. It should cut down on the reload. I'm not sure what is giving the missile buff. If the missile buff shows up without him being in range, what we'll do is... No, it doesn't. It doesn't show up, so it is Alith Anar. Let's move him into range real quick. See if we can do it without ruining the test, because we got to get there before these guys get in range and then move out. So it's definitely something on Alith Anar, and I don't know why I can't seem to capture it. 5 melee defense, reload. It's just not showing up in any of the abilities. Vengeance, striking forth. There it is. It pops up on these units when he's close to him. See, it doesn't hit this one over here. Martial prowess, reload skill. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. It's some kind of ninja buff that he's giving them there. Anyway, let's get out of range. Alright, none of my units have the damage buff. Let's focus all on one and see if we can do the same kind of damage. Let's see what the reload looks like. So that was one volley. Yeah, it was definitely much longer reload time. The damage is still pretty heinous because we're talking about 4 units. Wow, Alith Anar actually did do some good damage this time. I mean, there's definitely... So remember, at this point, we had basically routed this Black Orc already, and this time we have not. We've done a lot of damage, but it's definitely not routed. It's wavering. So, I mean, that was the difference there. This unit made it into combat, whereas last time we completely got rid of it because of the buffs that he gave it. So, again, I don't know. That to me seems to be his ticket to success, is use him to buff up the already strong archer lines of the High Elves. But give me any thoughts you all have. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Do hope you all enjoyed this one. I will see you soon.